Hello and welcome to the Luxury Lounge. That's right, every Thursday we head in the lounge, we shut the door, and we air our grievances with the world. And there's no grievance that's too big or too small or too frivolous. It is your problem, and it shall be heard. Now, if you want to be part of the Luxury Lounge, all you got to do is email jtrainpodcast@gmail.com. Send us your complaint. You can complain about anything. The luxury of the lounge is the place to complain, the safe space. I built this lounge with my bare hands so that you could come in and talk about anything you want. No one can look at you and go, no, bigger problems in the world. There's no bigger problem. It is your problem. It shall be heard. jtrainpodcast@gmail.com. jtrainpodcast@gmail.com. That's where you send it. Thank you for being a listener. Thank you for being a part of the lounge. Very excited for tonight. Today's guest, he's been in the lounge. Have you been in the lounge before?
Yeah, returning guest.
A returner to the lounge. He's got a show. He's taping a special. We want people to go. If you're in the New York area, it's at the Comedy Cellar. It's on October 23rd. It's a Monday night. What a fun, cool
best
thing.
Night for comedy.
That's the best night for I like doing comedy on Sunday nights.
Yeah.
That's kind of because Sunday nights it feels like people have had their weekend, and then they're like, "This is like a bonus night."
A little naughty. Why we shouldn't be having fun?
We shouldn't be having fun, but we're having fun and we're chilling.
Yeah.
We've got like some poison in us. We drank throughout the weekend, so we're just having
bearing the sadness of the weekdays.
Right, we're pushing it off. So they're a little more giving, I think, as far as like you. It's not like Saturday night's date night, Friday night's drunk night,
and both are awful.
They can be. They're tough comedy nights.
Both are awful.
Right, because again, when you see someone with a date and they're like not loose,
it's like
get out of here.
Well, it's tough. You want people to laugh without thinking, but it's hard to laugh when you're thinking. Let's face it, it's the women's fault. Them. No, I'm joking.
Well, what does this laugh say about me?
Yeah,
and about us, and about
both of you are thinking. This laugh. I might have to defend this laugh later.
Right.
So that, and then drunk night is awful because it's about them.
Right.
When they're going woo, they're just saying, be a part of my good night.
Right.
And then we're like, no, this is my night. You're just observing.
I once did a show where there was like a 20-person birthday party, and the club never warned me, never said, "Hey, Jared, just so you know," which is like something they should do.
Yeah,
and they sat them around the stage. So I'm like, if you have a 20-person birthday party, put them in the back, put them in a corner.
How do we make this as hard to kick out everyone as possible?
Right.
How do we interweave this into the fabric of the audience? It's a tumor you can't operate on.
Right, literally. And how do we make these 20 people feel like it's their birthday party?
Like their surround sound heckling.
Right. It basically became that. And then they're like, make fun of Robert. And you're like, I don't want to. I didn't even introduce you. Raanan Hershberg, thank you for coming on. Everyone go follow at Raanan Comedy. Hilarious comedy.
Raanan.
Raanan Comedy. We got to put the link in the bio of the episode. So October 23rd, RaananComedy.com. That's where you go get the tickets. You're taping another special.
Taping a special.
Love it. So
at the Cellar. Yeah.
At the Cellar. Monday night at the Cellar. Fun. New York City. You moved to New York City. Why'd you move here? To be a part of it.
Yeah.
Isn't that the song? I want to
be a part of New York.
I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Isn't
you moved here, yeah.
A Sinatra thing?
Yeah. New York.
Right.
I don't remember how it goes, but yeah. You want to be part of the city.
Part of the city. This is a cool thing to do. Again, we say date night, but a Monday night, if you're going on a date night, you're probably a little looser. This is something fun to do. Raanan, you got great stuff. Such a funny comic. You guys are going to love it. So go to RaananComedy.com.
I'm for women, too. Not just for men.
Even that joke before that he made, he did blame women, but
I'm a fat guy who struggles with weight, which is like every woman.
Okay.
But no, whether they're fat or not.
Right. Everyone's struggling with looks.
Every fat guy feels like every woman. You know what I mean?
Is this the first joke of the? Is this our lead joke?
No, that could try. We're depressed about being overweight or feeling fat. We're depressed about feeling fat.
I guess we're thinking about our looks in a way that I would say it seems as though most women have to be put in that position,
and we're kind of almost forced to be because of whatever issues. Or me, you look great. Me, I'm forced to be open about it in a way that I think women feel more okay to be open about,
right? Well,
men.
Again, like it's this is societal stuff.
Have
you thought of Ozempic?
Oh, I've thought about it. I was talking about like I was like, I need to lose weight. I was talking about someone. Oh, it was Whitney Cummings.
Okay.
Not to name drop.
That was huge name drop.
But I was talking about losing weight. And, I was like, I need to lose weight. And I was hoping she'd be like, oh, you're not that fat, which is what people typically say.
Right.
By the way, when you're no one says you're not fat more than fat people hear that. Fat people hear you're not fat more than anyone else. And fat people also hear you look like you've lost weight more than anyone else.
All the time. I was annoyed and I walked into the show. Whenever I feel like I've gained weight, someone goes, bulking up?
Yeah.
Bulking up? It's like, I didn't walk in here in a stringer tank top with 40-pound dumbbells in my hand. So no, I'm not bulking up. For what? For what? Football season? What do you think I'm bulking up for?
They're also saying like, oh, you're putting on the fat to turn into muscle, but you're not doing the turning into muscle part.
Right. But they like assume
you're just doing the carb loading part.
Right. You're just bigger. No, there's no 38-year-old. But it's just a weird comment. Oh, bulking up? Like, I don't know what you think. Like, I'm going through this cycle. Like, I'm a weightlifter. Like, I don't understand. Even where it comes from.
I think you look great now. But in the past, I truly can never tell if you're fat or muscular.
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm a wide torsoed guy,
and I feel like I am too.
Yeah,
but I think you are just like a wide, muscular guy.
I'm thick.
You're
for sure. I think everyone in my family's built that way too.
Yeah.
Like my dad has a barrel chest. My grandfather had a barrel chest. There's like a thickness. Big boned.
I feel like that too. I feel like I'm big bone and fat, but there's fat around the big bones.
What are you doing for working out? You said you got.
I ride a bike. I was weightlifting for like a couple months. Mm-hmm. I had this Hungarian trainer who was pretty good. He'd like insult you without trying to. He'd be like, see, it's very hard for you to, like, I'd be just lifting my body for stuff, and he'd be like, it's very hard because you're lifting like 215 pounds. It's a lot of weight. I'm lifting a lot less weight. So he's like trying to
your knees.
He fit my fat into me just like really working out hard. Like, wow, you're going, because it's all just body
like
lifting.
For you, this
like,
is.
Wow, you're going for a whole 215.
Right. I hate that. I wouldn't be able to have anyone, and this is my pre-existing problems, but like anyone foreign to the language I couldn't have involved in my health life.
It is funny.
Like, because any language barrier to that, they always are more insulting. They don't know how to like dance around like, hey, you're really doing a great job. They have to go, your knees get weak under the pressure of the weight of your body. And you're like, oh, that's horrible.
Not trying to insult you, which is like when a kid calls you fat. It's just like, he's funny too. He was like, in Hungary, there's this stereotype about Jews that they are, very greedy. Is that through other places?
Right.
He goes, is that through other places? And I go, yeah, it's gotten around.
Yeah, the history of the world. Legitimately.
He thought it was just specific to Hungary.
Right. Oh, we only talk about that there. No. It's like, it's like, did you guys have Toys R Us growing up too? Like we all had the same childhood. We had the same shitty fucking.
He literally was like, is that stereotype other places? Like he thinks every country has a different stereotype about Jews. It's greedy there. We're like fast in France.
Well, he would have to know that the world has been kind of like mean to Jews over the history of it.
I don't think
Does he think that's like a bad reputation differently in every?
Yeah, I think he thought it was like different things. Like Jews are fast here. Jews are like greedy. Jews are I don't know. They eat too much. I don't know. Different stereotypes each place, and then we all got together. And
maybe an accent just allows you to say what you really want to tell people, and he's just an asshole.
Yeah, pretty much. No.
Listen, let's get to the complaints. Everyone go to Raanan's show on the 23rd. It is in the Comedy Cellar, the world famous Comedy Cellar. We're going to do the complaints. You ready?
I'm always ready.
I'm trying to think of what my complaint is today. I've been in a good mood. Everything's okay. Okay, hit the music, Shelby. Jared, he has some problems. Jared, he's got some issues too. I just got New Balance. I've had them for a minute, but they got the red N on it.
Yours?
Yeah.
I love the red N.
I really
I'm always
love
looking
them.
for the red N.
I'll show it.
I'm always looking for just some kind of red, black New Balance configuration. Yeah.
These ones are great. They got a cool under.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll show them to you.
Sometimes people find New Balance and like, I don't even know. Did you just get this made for yourself? Like sometimes I see
There's a lot of, you can get like different
Tailored?
combinations. Yeah. My complaint today is my parents listening to my podcast. That's a real issue I have lately. Because when I go on the podcast and I rant and I say it,
Yeah.
I get it out there. It's out, done. I'm over it. Sometimes just complaining here is my therapy. And then I'm like, I don't really hold on to things. I don't feel like I do. I will harp on things,
Right.
but I don't hold on to them.
It's a tough sell to your parents to be like, look, this is my personal therapy that I'm telling everyone else in the world, but it's not for you.
but also like, because I don't mind that they listen. I just mind that I have to now rehash. I went on a podcast and I talked about my mom called me this about looks and body. She called me and she goes, literally I was in a subway on like a Tuesday and she goes, it's the worst you've ever looked. And I'm like,
Who
why?
said that?
This is my mom.
About you?
About me. So I was like, I'm
Recently?
in this is last week.
Fucking psychos.
Right. And I go, and I'm like literally in a subway, like people going to work and I'm like, okay, I can't do this now. Like I'm standing. I can't have this conversation now. There's nothing that's going to be fixed right now. Like I need to like move on from this.
Well, I think that goes way beyond her listening to her podcast. I think why does she feel the need to say you look terrible?
Well, I guess because she claimed that like my eyes look puffy and that I was drinking too much.
You're
when
like,
I
the
was
real
there.
problem is that it's her listening to my podcast when it's really
Right,
her
well-
has completely destroyed your self-image.
Well, to her, like when I tell the story of it, and you can go listen, I think I did it on the You Up Benefits podcast, and I told the story. She listened to it, and I'm like, once it's out, like at the end of that podcast, I'm like, I've moved on. I'm okay with it. Like, I just think to me, it's now funny to call someone and go, it's the worst you've ever looked, and then hang up. And it's like, now I get to have this all day, you know? And then she goes, I just need to talk to you about what happened on the podcast. I feel bad. I'm like,
God.
I don't feel bad anymore. Well, I guess I did transfer it over to her, but I don't want to do it again. I'm just done. Like, it's over.
Yeah, it's like we're not. Yeah,
You ever get in like an argument with someone, then you go, okay, we're good. And then they just keep bringing it up, and you're like, we're good.
Yeah.
You're making it awkward.
Yeah, all the time.
Like,
Yeah.
I can move on from these things.
you can move on. They just still want to. Yeah.
This happens at comedy shows all the time, too, where you like slam someone, like they're yelling out, and you go, you make a joke about them, and then you go back to the show, and then they're like, and you're like, we could have moved on.
Right,
We're
exactly.
cool.
One of the ways you can really upset someone if they're mad at you and you just say, I'm really sorry. They have that moment where they're like, fuck you, I'm still mad, but you like stop me from like
Right.
I'm sorry is a great. People who can't say I'm sorry are psychopaths because like, or more like you are a psychopath. You should, as a psychopath, realize how great the card I'm sorry is because it literally stops the person. It makes the person feel silly for still being angry.
Right, and what it does, it stops them from this like rant they've prepared for you. They want you to feel if someone
It ruins
feels
their moment. It's great.
Right,
It's awesome.
If someone feels they deserve an I'm sorry, then they also feel they deserve to let you know why you should be more
so
sorry.
what I do is they start reeling up for that rant or big soliloquy or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just say I'm sorry right away, deeply.
Before you start.
I ruin
It
the
is a
scene.
great way to go.
And then they're like, have this look like, but I got 3 more pages here.
Right,
You know
I
what I mean?
got a whole thing
It's
to
great.
make
I
you
love that
feel
look.
horrific.
And then
you're
they're still angry and
Right.
they can't like, you can't, if like someone said sorry, you can't be like, and you also, like, it's like, it's a way to really like fuck with people.
Right, but it is what you say. It is funny that you say that it's like a psycho to not say I'm sorry. It's like you go, hey, I hear what you're saying. Well, I'm sorry. Like the other way to go is what? To fight for a point that
Well, here's the thing. You don't have to mean it.
Right. That's the best. That's the best part of I'm sorry. Is that you can just
Like you don't have to mean it. You just have
Right.
to sound like you mean it.
right. Hey, that's a really good way to sound like you mean it. Hey, all you have to really do to sound like you mean it is go before you get started.
Yeah.
I know you're really angry with me.
hear you.
I've been thinking about this all night long.
I'm really sorry.
I am truly
Yeah.
sorry. Touch your heart.
Yeah.
Touch your heart.
Touch your heart. Yeah.
Touch your heart. I can't tell you how sorry.
And then they
I am.
can't be like, you lying. You know what I mean? Like,
I know. And then you just go, I know.
I know.
I know.
But it's too late. I
I
said
know.
sorry.
It's the sorry's been said.
But these people who like can't say sorry unless they meet, like, I just don't say sorry. It's like, why are you making shit so hard on yourself?
Well, that's why they're in a position to say sorry in the first place. They're a piece of shit.
Right.
I would say that the correlation between I don't say sorry unless I meet it and pieces of shit
yeah.
is pretty dead on. Like that's a big part of the Venn diagram, the middle part of the Venn
you
diagram.
mean it's actually worse to only say it if you feel like you mean it.
I think saying sorry for the health of someone you care about,
whether you mean it or not,
whether you mean it or not, is a caring thing.
That is a great spin. No,
that's how you know I'm a good liar and apology. No, but it is true. Like you go, listen, I don't really understand what I did wrong, but this person that I care about is really upset.
And to stop them from yelling.
Let me just get this done with. I guess it's not really communication, but I don't think the other way is a better way of communication.
No, you're a psycho. Yeah,
right. Like I gotta need to want to care about it. It's like you probably have no friends left.
It's much harder being an asshole in life.
Like easier to be nice than me.
Way easier. That's
easier.
why, like, I don't think being nice means you're necessarily good, but it does mean you're nice. It's better than being an asshole.
Right. It's easier. It's less stress.
But whenever you ever talk shit about comic and someone's like, they're actually really nice. I'm like, so is everyone. Go fuck yourself.
Right. I think that's even more of a insult.
It can be more of an insult.
Like if you're like, they're a nice guy and you're like, I don't know. Like
you definitely don't want to be. You don't want nice to be number one on, like, if someone's defining you.
Oh,
like, as a comic. You don't want nice
I think
to
in
be
any
number one.
industry.
Yeah.
If you're nice first and then good at your job second.
Yeah, right.
Like,
you really want to get that sweet middle ground between nice and rapist. Somewhere.
I didn't know that was the spectrum.
That's both sides.
Ladies, you can go to Raanan's show on Monday, the 23rd of October. Let's go to Raanan's complaint. Hit the music. It's the guest's turn to complain.
Oh, yeah.
They're ready to jump in. How much I was going to like this coffee mug with ice. They've got lots of problems too. It ain't all about Jared. Let's hear their complaint of the day.
Right. Yeah.
Let's hear their complaint of the day.
That's a good point.
They're invited on the show to have some fun and complain with you. Let's hear that complaint.
Yeah, no,
let's hear the complaint.
Well, I want to complain about, I guess I just saw a nutritionist.
How'd it go?
It was good. I realized that, like, the minute I started talking to her, like, we had an hour-long session, I was like, oh, this is what I need instead of a therapist. Like, I realized that in the moment, I'm like, oh, this is, like, we got into more intense issues just talking about my relationship with food. Like, my therapist, I, like, whatever, it's okay. But she asked me what's my, like, history with food. I just start crying immediately. You know what I mean?
Well, what did you get from it? Like, I think there's, like, two things. I have a nutritionist that I, like, lean on. Yeah, Alex Turoff. She's great. And what I love about what she does, it's like, sometimes it's hard with a nutritionist because you'll go, what do I have for breakfast? And they're like, what do you like for breakfast? And you're like, no. This is medicine. I'm going to eat when I eat.
Right.
This is going to be helping me feel better when I eat.
Right.
To allow myself to do that, I need a plan otherwise. Like, I need to be like a baby. Like, I need to be on a schedule. I need to really figure this out. Well, and Alex was, like, very helpful in that, where I'm like, I gave a scenario. I was like, Delta Sky Club, what should I eat? She goes, 2 hard-boiled eggs with the shell of a 3rd hard-boiled egg and a banana. You're done. And I go, that's what I need. That's why these people who are like, you got to think of I just think, to me, for someone to look at someone being like, I'm having body issues, I'm having food issues, and to go, well, you just got to be more thoughtful with it. And don't even worry about. Don't put judgments on food. It's like, no. I am so far away.
It's so funny because I think my nutritionist is exactly that.
Oh, really? No food is evil. Yeah, no food is evil. But, like, tell me what number of calories I should stay within for breakfast.
Well, I will say it. I think things work differently for different people.
That's the major point.
I think, and I just started with her, but I will say, like, I've always tried to diet different ways, and it's like she asked me about a day, and this is my complaint about dieting. I have tried so many diets that anytime I eat any food, I feel bad because I'm breaking one of those diets.
Right,
I'm like,
I know that. I know the
breaking
feeling.
Atkins or keto, or Whole30, or like anything. You know what I mean? Fruit, like everything is bad on something. So I've just developed this really shame with food from younger shit, And what it was funny, she was asking me about, like, what was my product eating the day before, and I had to tell her, like, what I did. And once you say it out loud, you're like, oh, I'm a crazy person.
Right.
Like,
Well, what did you eat?
it was tough to like talk about. It was like opening up about. It's not that I ate so horribly. It's that I had so many delusions. So I said, well, it was Sunday. It was a couple weeks before my special. I did want to lose weight. I decided I'll start intermittent fasting today. Like,
Yeah.
I just woke up starting a new diet.
Not even knowing what that is.
Well, I've tried it before, but like never like actually like it wasn't like something.
But has
I was-
anyone taught you intermittent fasting?
No,
Yeah,
no.
you've taught. You
yeah.
have an idea of what it
Yeah,
is.
I was like, I'm going to eat from just 12 to 8.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You just decide.
But I just decided.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like, I'm going to try this diet. Like, I'm just going to try this diet today.
Right.
So right away, it's just crazy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then, I talk about what I eat, and then I talk about how, like, I wait till 12 to eat, and then I ate, and it was pretty healthy. But then I totally forgot to eat till, like, 5 p.m., and I was starving. And I was at a diner, and I'm like, well, it's intermittent fasting, so I'll just eat unhealthy,
Right. You can do whatever you want.
Right.
During
so
your window.
it wasn't like the most unhealthy. Like, I'm not like, but it was like potato salad and like a
Sure.
wrap and shit where I like, not that that's necessarily all bad, but it was like, potato salad I wouldn't have done. You know what I mean? And I ate that, and then I forgot to eat at 8 p.m. So I ended up eating like a wrap like right before I went to bed. And it was just funny to talk about it because I was like, oh, I would have been healthier if I didn't try to diet.
Right. Well, that's
Like,
most the case. Is like
yeah.
you end up. It's a binge restrict.
It's a binge restrict thing, and it's like because I try some kind of diet because I'm not honest to my own abilities. I just like have a delusion, and that makes it worse. Especially intermittent, where you're like, "Well, I'll just eat it." So then it just turned out I was trying to diet, and what happened? I just ended up eating bad all day.
Right. Well, because here's what happens, and it happens to me. It's like I'll not do this so that I can do more later.
Yeah.
And what you realize is like you have to be able to do that later.
Yes.
And you can't do that. You'll do more later, but so much more that you've actually ruined what you didn't do for yourself earlier.
It's just fucking delusions.
Yeah, it's delusions.
Fucking delusions. It's like, and it's my whole life. And she was saying, like, you need to feel more full during the day.
Right.
And that's where I was realizing, like, I'm so erratic that I'll get, like, really hungry or I'll have some diet. And right now, it's such a weird system now because she's, like, her whole thing is intuitive eating. This is the thing.
I hate intuitive eating. I think intuitive eating, to me, like, I
haven't tried it yet.
It works, again, you're trying to figure out what works for you. So it might work for you. You might, but I'm like, I understand that sometimes intuitive eating is like shouted out at people in the way that like body confidence is.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. That's where it gets annoying. Where they go, they end up getting mad at you for having rules by not following their rules.
Right.
And you go, we've lost our minds.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
We have gone all the way around the dial to conservatically again.
Right.
Like
And you're
the liberal who becomes conservative.
And it's like you get the advice from thin people or like
Right.
metabolically privileged.
Right.
And you're like, which is like a hot guy giving advice. It's like, or someone born rich giving financial advice.
Right.
It's like, I get in fights with my girlfriend about this because she is like, she does like give me advice, and I'm like, you're just fucking born skinny. Go fuck yourself.
Right.
And,
And it's not even born skinny. It's like, have you ever watched someone who has like a pretty good body eat? Mm-hmm. And they eat differently than me.
Yeah.
Like they're not hovered over the food. They're not like
It's not something bad.
Right. And they're not like making sure like everyone got even amounts on the apps.
Yeah.
Like they're just a different mindset.
Well, I do
It's like,
think people do. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I do think people get that gene, and other people don't. That gene of
Right.
like, I got to fill up completely, and like, I don't know where I'm going to get my next meal.
right. When's the next fun
Yeah.
meal? Like I'll do
Yeah.
a good meal and I'll be like, well, I'm going to be healthy tomorrow, so I really got to
Right.
like pack it
And
in.
we literally fill up because on an evolutionary thing, we're like, I don't know when our next, who knows when we'll get a next
Right.
pterodactyl that we're going to hunt. But it doesn't make sense now because we're just like, who knows when I'll see a bodega or Burger King again.
Right.
It doesn't,
I think you'll find one.
But so I realized like, I have been fucked up with diets and I just started this. So I don't know if it's,
You got to give it a shot, but you got to give it a fair shot.
I got to give it a fair shot. And the shot is essentially having like balanced meals.
Sure.
And actually like, which I do think, if anything, the one thing, it's very not restrictive. I mean, I guess it is in the sense that you have to like have a plan for when you're going to eat time-wise.
That's the hardest part for us as comedians,
Yes.
too. Because you waking up at the same time every day is already, you're immediately healthier.
Of course, yeah.
No matter what.
I would be way thinner if I didn't fucking go on the road. I'm fucking... Literally, we're shortening our life expectancies for these drunken pieces of shit.
You can go to
who just want us
Raanan's
to
show on Monday, October 23rd.
How long they've been dating.
Yeah. Listen, I know where you're coming from. I deal with it myself. I think, like, schedule is key to everything. Listen, the intuitive part for me is realizing the difference between bored and hunger.
Yeah.
And getting ahead of starving.
Yes.
Eating when hungry, but not getting ahead of starving. It's like a huge thing for me.
Which that is, like, I do think if you have more structure, it'll take a little more of the emotion out of
Listen,
it.
I'm a big protein bar guy just to get me to my next meal. Just because, again, I'm hungry, protein bar. I'm not starving. I can get done with it.
Well, she has in her list, like, you have to take a certain amount of snacks a day between meals.
Right.
And on that list is a protein bar, and also on her list, which I think is insane. And I don't know if this is a joke or reverse. Like, she has M&Ms.
I know. That's not a joke. That gets to the no evil food part, because you go M&Ms. The protein bar and the M&Ms have the same amount of calories.
Yeah.
You go and you're like, but your whole life, I get it. Your whole life is like, get away from the candy. No candy.
Right.
No candy before dinner. So now you have this evil thing that's associated.
But then I guess now I'm going, well, I'm not gonna have M&Ms. Like it's turning into my choice.
Well, if you had M&Ms, there's a difference between when you eat M&Ms and when you should eat M&Ms. I do believe this. Like, if I ate M&Ms right now, I would have one bag, because I'm not starving. I would have one bag and I go, all right, I had the M&Ms. They were good. They were delicious. You and I don't do that, though. No. We wait until, don't do it. When
and
then you go, fine, and you eat it under a bridge.
Yeah, when I have M&Ms, it means I'm thinking about the girl who rejected me in high school.
Right. It's like, you're back in the yearbook. You're flipping through.
Like
you're like, what does it mean, have a good summer?
Like when a thin person eats M&Ms, yeah, it's just like, I just had M&Ms.
Listen,
yeah, but for me, it's like... No one will ever love me. Right. Or like haunted memories.
You ever been to a coffee shop and seen someone get like, and I'll have one croissant?
Yeah.
And you go, that person's totally okay.
How are they not derailing? Like, that would be me on like my suicidal day. If you see me order a croissant at the beginning of the day, I'm planning suicide at 5 p.m.
Watch out for me. I mean, I can even tell by your coffee order that you're fucked up with food. I just said this. Normal people get splash of cream. The idea, if you got a splash of cream, you'd be like, I've given up. That you'd be on suicide watch.
Yeah, I would. Well, years ago, I was with Greg Fitzsimmons. I never even finished that Whitney thing. I was just going to say that I said I was losing weight. I was like, I need to lose weight. And I hoped she would be like, oh, you're not that fat. But instead she said, you should try
Ozempic.
Yeah, but one time with another comic, Greg Fitzsimmons, very funny comic.
I've been on his show, very funny.
And he asked me... like what kind of he drank coffee black, which I had not done until that point. And he's like, "Why? What kind of coffee do you drink?" He asked me, and I go, "I usually get like a pumpkin spice latte." And he went, "Wow, you really never miss an opportunity to gain weight, do you?" And I've been drinking black coffee ever since.
That's how you can tell Greg Fitzsimmons been in LA for a long time. The idea of like coffee is just really could run you out of town with one latte order.
We assume enjoying something is bad.
Well, this is back to the issue initially.
Yeah.
This is what your nutritionist is getting at. Listen,
but wait, do you think it's bad though? Okay, sorry.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't want to interrupt your plug for my special thing.
We'll get to it.
But everything is... But you think intuitive, that kind of intuitive eating is bad?
I think it's when it's told to people who need to be told what to do for a few months. It's bad. I don't think it's for everybody.
It's not for everyone. I will say
I think sometimes the intuitive eating people become judgmental of people who don't do it in the way that they tell you not to not judge things.
I hear that. And I am like, I don't think I'm going to be like, it is kind of funny because I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. I don't know if I'm going to lose weight. I'll feel better.
Right.
But also it's like, it's just weird because you're like, the other day I followed it and I'm like, I don't think I would have eaten more just doing my own thing, even though that would have been more shameful. Yeah, I would have probably eaten later at night.
Right.
That is the one difference. Like, because I'm having dinner earlier, and still having like a small snack late at
Yeah.
night, I'm like not eating. You know what I
When
mean?
you know there's food coming, that's a big part. You just said there's another meal coming, and I
Yes.
know what it is.
Yes.
Knowing what the food is the rest of the day is going
that's
to
what
be.
my girlfriend is
That's a
very
big
good at.
thing.
She plans that all.
Like if you're like, okay, I wake up, have an egg white omelet, I'm gonna have the protein, and then I'm gonna have a grilled
it's
chicken
just
later.
hard when you're like a depressive. My girlfriend's like, "What do you want for dinner tonight?" I'm like, "I have a gun in my mouth right now. I'm not thinking about that shit."
JTrain podcast at gmail.com here with Raanan Hershberg. Go to Raanan's special taping, October 23rd. It's at the Cellar, RaananComedy.com. We are sponsored. If you're tired of dealing with hair thinning, there's hope. First of all, you're not alone. Over half of humanity experiences hair thinning. It's common and it can be fixed. Nutrafol, the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, has been clinically shown to improve hair growth, visible thickness, and strength. They use science-backed ingredients to get you back to your Fabio-inspired locks. I have not used Nutrafol. My mom loves it. My mom has seen the difference. She feels her hair has gotten thicker. I've become her pusher. She keeps calling me. I need more Nutrafol. I need more. She's on it. She loves it. I think you're going to like it too. Nutrafol has multiple unique formulas that help hair growth based on each client's biology, age, and other lifestyle factors. Just take a quick hair wellness quiz on their website and you'll be on your way to the hair of your dreams. In clinical studies, 72% of men saw more scalp coverage and 86% of women saw improved hair growth after taking Nutrafol for just 6 months. Okay, the numbers tell you everything. Take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair for a limited time. Nutrafol is offering JTrain listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code FEATHER. Find out why over 4,000 healthcare professionals recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code FEATHER. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code FEATHER. You ready to do some complaints?
Yeah.
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Luxury Lounge, pissed off and pedicured. Feather, let's get right into my complaint. I write to you in the middle of getting a pedicure at the bougie nail salon in my suburban town.
Is this a guy or girl? I'm just joking.
It can be whoever you'd like. I'm going for a pedicure after this. I'm down. For context, I go to this place as a special treat since the prices are 2 times higher than other options in the area. Today, the nail tech doing my nails is new and in training. The owner is shadowing the new nail tech and is constantly interrupting to correct something. Needless to say, this is not a relaxing experience, and I miss the sure hands of an experienced professional. I'm understanding that people need to be trained, but shouldn't I have at least been given a heads up about this possibility when I book my appointment? Don't you think some kind of discount should be offered for me since this is not the experience I came for? Thanks for hearing me out. Pissed off and pedicured. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to try to empathize more with the complaints. I think last
Yes.
time you don't remember, but like every time you brought up a complaint, I was just like, "Shut up, you fucking." But I actually,
this is a real complaint.
I actually do empathize with this because I got a sandwich the other day. I just ordered a sandwich quickly, you know? And you know that moment where you're like, order a sandwich, and the guy's like, turns to the felon who just got a job that day, and he's like, "All right, you ready? Here we go." And then you're suddenly the fucking,
You're the guinea pig.
You're the guinea pig. So he's telling this fucking, pedophile. He's like, all right,
Why does every sandwich place hire the most horrific
That's how they do
criminals?
it. It's branding.
Yeah,
And,
you knew. Okay, I didn't realize Subway was like home of. Well, I guess I should have.
They're
Jared,
all like that. Yeah. So he's like, "All right, you want to put the bread on like this?" And he's like, "Well, in prison we put it like this." And
Right.
they're just explaining.
When
It
we
took
make license plates.
Yeah, it takes like an hour.
Yeah.
He shivs him halfway through. It's like
Right.
I'm waiting for my sandwich for so long, and it does upset me. They should ask to the person, "Do you mind if we train him?" Because he could be on a rush.
Absolutely.
I mean, I waited like 30 minutes for like a sandwich.
You could have been in a rush. Also,
And there was, like-
especially in like a spa place.
Yeah.
You signed up for an experience. You came to them because you expected the bougie experience. They should look at you and go, "Hey, listen, if you opt in to our teaching program, we'll give you 10% off today."
Right.
Like 10% off is like such a 10% is just a nice gesture.
Also, maybe just train without customers waiting in a rush. Why
Right.
don't you just train a sandwich? I don't know. I mean, I guess they have to train every type of sandwich.
Right. You got to, well, there has to be some, I understand. You got to train on the job. That is part of hiring new.
Yeah.
The idea that everyone has a first day. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's alert people. Hey, we got a first day. Like, I would actually like to be a part of some. One time I went to the doctor and they were like, hey, I am a teaching doctor. Would you mind if my student runs your health checkup, your physical? And I said, not a problem.
Yeah.
And we did it, and it was a little awkward,
and she missed the cancer.
I'm dying. Thanks a lot. Failed the exam. No, you go, and I felt nice to be a part of someone's, new thing. Like I felt good.
Yeah.
That I felt like part of the team in that way. So like I think like,
but you also don't want that situation to be too rushed.
Right.
Well, you're not like, come on, speed this up.
Right, but even like at the pedicure place, you go, oh, you would gain this feeling of like, oh, I helped the new generation along. Like, they're hiding it from you because they don't want you to be mad. And honestly, they would, if they got in front of it, if they were like, hey, we got someone new here, we're going to give you 10% off, and you would be a customer for a lifetime, and you might even come in the next time and go, give me the new guy. They did a great job.
Right,
like you're
right,
gonna get, everyone is to win in that respect. And it's like one of those things where it's like you don't even realize how much you'll be winning if you just show a little vulnerability.
I agree. I do know she said in that I wanted to treat myself by going to this place because it's more expensive.
She didn't say
it was better.
That's the problem. It's like I do understand when they're more expensive. Usually, like the appliances are nicer, the chairs are nicer, but that doesn't mean the experience.
I would
is
say,
be
and I'm not, no judgment here, but I would say if you're going, I went to this bougie place because it was more expensive. I'm like, I'd say you might be a little bougie yourself.
That's okay. Well, that's the experience they're looking for.
Yeah, right.
But the thing is, even the bougie place has to train their bougie place.
I'm a communist. Like they should be killed.
Oh, you don't like any amount of spending to you.
Well, why?
This guy comes from his nutritionist therapist and is telling us how to spend our money.
Spent like $700 on that.
JTrain podcast.
I could have saved lives in Africa.
Right. Look at you judging other people.
I could have saved lives in Africa, and instead I literally could have spent $700.
Cried about eating a sandwich.
Yeah, I could have spent $700. I could literally have put that and saved a life. And instead, I chose to have someone make me feel okay eating M&M's.
Well, that's why the luxury lounge exists. No one can come in here and say you could have saved a life. You could have always saved a life instead of doing whatever you do every day.
Yeah.
Right? You go up on stage and talk about your traumas. You think that time couldn't have been better spent somewhere else?
But if there's no comedy,
you could have been
sad.
Well, I think everybody would be okay. JTrain podcast @gmail.com. Luxury Lounge, subtitles blocking the screen. Shelby, Jared, and guest, Feather. My LLC is coming to you all the way from Switzerland. Love it. International. I love going to the cinema to watch the latest movies, and I prefer to do it in their original language, mostly English. My complaint is that because this country has multiple official languages, German, French, Italian, all English movies have both German and French subtitles in the region where I live. This is fine on bigger screens, but in cute art cinemas, sometimes the writing blocks half the screen. You know how sometimes in the movie there's something written on the screen to indicate when or where the scene is happening? Well, Netflix and other streaming services figured out how to move subtitles around so I can still see the added information. But why can't cinemas? I hate being lost in timelines or having to figure out where the movie plays. I am there to put my brain on the shelf, not to play detective, and I paid full admission, so I want to see the full picture. What do you think, Raanan?
Well, I think if you're watching art films, you're probably not putting your brain on the shelf.
There's some thinking involved.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean?
Yeah, but they're
I didn't go to the Swedish art house movie theater to think.
Well, they're thinking about that thing instead of their eating issues.
Yeah, it is. I will say the like, come on, I don't need this in other languages. Fucking speak English. I've never seen that complaint within Swedish art house movies, like in that world.
Well,
like,
that's the plight. That's the true plight, don't you think? The plight of this person is like, when you're asking for the English movie to be in English, you still sound like a pig American.
Yeah.
When you're in the Swedish movie and you're asking for get rid of this English subtitled, now you sound proper.
Right.
Like, that's annoying. Like,
but
this
she's saying get rid of the French, the German and French.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, when you say get rid of the German and French, you immediately sound like an American pig.
Right.
But the movie was in English. It's meant to be in English.
Exactly.
So fuck off.
Right.
That's what I hate about this, because if it was a French movie.
She's actually more cultured. She actually understands it in its own language.
Right. Well, in the way it was intended to be seen.
She's also the cultured one. She's English. She's like, it's like a French person here being like, why are there English subtitles? It's in French. It's ruining it. Yeah,
Right.
That's what you're saying. I mean, that is annoying. I mean, like.
I think that's the most annoying part is that you always sound like a pig.
Because Switzerland is such a non-committal pussy country, they couldn't decide on one language.
Right.
By the way, this is about Switzerland in general or any of those countries like that, you know? Like,
well, give me some more. I don't know.
Well, you know, what is it? What are the other countries? Holland. Countries that
don't get involved.
That have more than one language.
Okay.
That don't have a national language. If you all can't agree on a national language, then you shouldn't be a country. Like, if you don't have that much commitment, and that's a bold statement.
It's bold.
I am putting down, like, a bunch of different countries. But, I do believe that.
Also, like, kind of culturally, like, they are one, like, a homogenous, you know, like.
They're a homogenous country, but, like, with Switzerland, you have German over here, French over here. You know, it's like, if you can't decide on different languages, you're not a country. Go back to the drawing board.
Well, I guess the way I think of Europe is more like the United States, like with states.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the people in Pittsburgh are a little bit West Virginia.
Right.
You know, like, but they're still in Pennsylvania.
Right, of course. Yeah,
you know, like there's a little bit.
Pennsylvania gets pretty red.
Right.
Redneck.
Well, Connecticut goes. There's some New England, Connecticut people, and there's New York, Connecticut people.
You go outside of New York City, everyone in New York is a fucking farmer in the middle of nowhere. Right. You literally go 20 minutes outside of New York City, they're like, we don't get people like you from around here. It's just me and my pig on this farm.
They do get pretty weird when you say you're from New York City. You're like, yeah, and you end up in Pennsylvania, but it's like an hour away, and you're like, you can go every day. It's right here.
Isn't it funny, too, that New York State is defined by New York City when, like, I mean, it's obviously where most of the people are, but most of the land is definitely nothing like New York City.
The best, the one part you become thankful for New York City in other parts of New York is you're like, you'll be in Buffalo and they're like, yeah, the bars are open till 4 a.m. You're like, here? And they're like, yeah, it's just like, it's New York. And you go, oh, and it's because of New York City. It's like, you know, that's open till 4 a.m. They're like, it affects like these other podunk places.
Then you go on the road and you forget to eat at 8 p.m. and everything's closed at 10.
Like New York
is
saves
this open?
you.
Applebee's, is this open? The kitchen's not open, but we have one stale
potato
wedge.
You can always count on New York State to be this like kind of late night state.
I had a serious crisis in Indianapolis once. I was at a show and I like forgot to eat. It was like 10 p.m. I think I smoked weed and there was nothing open. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Like go to sleep hungry? Like I'm in fucking,
it's
like I'm in Africa?
Bane of my existence.
Yeah, I can't.
The only thing that's open is that it's a Steak and Shake.
Yeah.
And then it kind of closes somewhat earlier as well. I know exactly where in Indianapolis I got my late night fix.
And I've like, back when you're drunk, you go to Steak and Shake and a Waffle House. It's like fine. But when you're sober for the most part, it's like a David Lynch movie. It's like terrifying.
What do you do? Like I would do the hotel marketplace. I'd be like 30 bags of chips.
Why did I not have that as an option? I can't remember why.
I put up a video once of me going back from like the Holiday Inn marketplace and they didn't have bags. So it was just me hugging a bunch, like a kid who just won a bunch of stuffed animals at the zoo.
I think my hungry loneliness at that point was beyond what the hotel marketplace could fulfill.
It couldn't be.
Like I needed like
the individual chicken salad in a can.
It could not.
Wasn't going to suffice.
Yeah, it would not. I had like career choices I had to forget about that night.
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast.
I might just say something depressing.
At gmail.com. Here with Raanan Hershberg at Raanan Comedy. That's the fun you can find Monday the 23rd at his special taping, RaananComedy.com to get tickets. Oh, did I talk about my dates? I didn't even get into my dates. I got dates. Come on, people. If you're out there, I am in Charlotte, North Carolina this weekend. That's right. The great town of Charlotte, Bank of America town, USA. Charlotte, I got 5 shows. Philadelphia, added a second show. Syracuse, DC, added a second show. Baltimore, Dania Beach, Portland, Oregon, Phoenix, Arizona, San Diego, Boston, Chicago, jaredfree.com. I'm adding more dates all the time. We love adding dates. Let's Luxury Lounge. Ban the bag ban.
What?
Plastic bags full of feathers to you, Shelby, and your guests. My complaint is about the plastic bag bans that are creeping into townships and cities all around me. I am sure none of this is new to you, as New York has had a ban on single-use plastic bags since 2020. But in my state, the towns around me are slowly adopting rules that forbid supermarkets and other stores from providing convenient, useful, and repurposable plastic bags to customers. Without this standard service, I now have to plan my grocery store trips and remember to bring a bag. I do not want to keep reusable bags in my car because I still have to remember to bring them back to the car after bringing in my groceries. And I'm a forgetful, scatterbrained person. To make matters worse, the township now mandates a 15-cent fee on paper bags that the store is allowed to provide, and you have to ask for them from a store clerk while you're going through the self-checkout, defeating the purpose of self-checkout. And they don't have handles, so they are annoying to schlep to the car. It is basically the Stamp Act or the Tea Act. I care about the environment, but do not want to undertake this kind of inconvenience to barely make a dent. I recycle and don't litter. Can't that be enough? Thank you for reading my complaint, as even the people in my life who usually agree with me on everything do not think the bag bans are a big deal. Thank you. About to dump a barge of bags into Boston Harbor. What do you think?
Very funny. That's
Yes.
Tiak line.
Fantastic.
It is basically
email.
Nazi Germany. I mean, I kind of agree. It's like, first of all, isn't plastic bags like a 90s problem? Aren't we like all going to be underwater in 3 weeks? Is that the thing keeping us afloat, the bags?
Most of these environmental things that the people have to care about are just to make us feel good about ourselves and aren't helpful at all.
Yeah, they're like too late with the
I don't
bags?
know.
Or like, isn't that not too late, but isn't the bags kind of like the least of our problems now?
I would assume, like when I see a big pipe going into the air with smoke coming out of it all day long, you go, I don't know if it's the bags.
Though, then I remember I watched Our Planet on Netflix, and there are parts where like this seagull in Australia who's in an island is feeding his child plastic balls. And,
I know, but here's the thing.
They're dumb. They should know.
It's
better.
dumb.
Yeah.
The seagulls should know better, but also growing up, here's the thing. Get rid of one problem, create another. Mm-hmm. Those plastic bags from the grocery store used to have a space in my home. Did they have a space in your home growing up where you would go and use them in the little garbages around the house?
Yeah, we put them on our heads.
Right.
My parents would be like, either go the whole way with it on your head or don't.
Get high, you put like aerosol can.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying you would use those bags.
Sure.
And what they said in their email is correct. The plastic, I've never thought of the plastic bags as reusable, but I was reusing them my whole life. They were, Stop and Shop bags were the liners of every garbage in my house. Now, I don't have plastic bags from any grocery store, so I have to go buy plastic bags, little tiny ones. I have to get the smaller ones to be the liners for my garbage bags.
I just get the reusable every time. I just have a giant thing of like nice plastic bags now.
What do you mean?
Well, at the grocery, you can pay for the...
But you're not listening to what I'm saying.
I'm sorry.
The grocery bags that you used to get at the grocery that were
like
plastic,
yeah.
you would bring them home and use them in other ways.
Yes.
So they were being reused by normal people. So now instead of reusing the grocery bags, we're buying more plastic bags.
Right. That's a great point.
So it's going to happen no matter what.
What we call reusable plastic bags are, in fact, not really that reusable.
Right.
They're only reusable for one thing, which is to remember the next time you go to the grocery, which no one remembers.
Right.
So you're actually not... That's a brilliant point. You're not... Why? When you listen to someone, you really can...
Let's see what happens.
It's not... You're not reusing the reusables, and the ones that we didn't reuse, we reused all the time.
Right. We had worked it out. We'd figured it out. I think the only way... There shouldn't have been a plastic bag ban. There should have been police forces going door to door to make sure you were taking the plastic bags that you got from the grocery store and using them elsewhere.
Right.
That's where the knock on the door, like the Nazi Germany knock on the door. Let me see your bags, not your papers. I want to see your bags. Let me see how you're reusing the plastic bags, because we were fixing the problem on our own. The world was healing itself. And then they came in here and added the big government in. They're going to charge you for paper bags that don't have handles. This all ends at no handles. It's crazy.
Which is just like, first of all, you're just putting ourselves in the Home Alone situation where it all breaks.
Absolutely.
Like, they're like, do you want this $4 reusable bag,
right?
Or do you want to have all your groceries break on the way home?
Absolutely.
Which one do you want?
If it's not if it's not the Whole Foods bag with the handles, then you have no bag at all.
Yeah,
because so now they're just looking for us to pay more money.
David Tell described it as like when you get your like clothes in prison, you put it like under, like it's a bag you have to hold under you, you know, like the cardboard bag.
Oh, well, you have to hold it underneath.
Like your possessions or something that they give you, like when you're naked.
It really isn't a solution. They've just moved the deck chairs around the
and
ship
they're
deck.
extorting us. And also they've ruined being able to impulsively go to I have to have a plan every time I go to the grocery. Like, this is New York. I go to the grocery because I look and I go, oh, there's the grocery.
Right.
I haven't had food in my house in like months.
Have you ever said to has the person ever asked you for a bag, if you need a bag, and you go, no, I'm good, because you're just like, I guess I don't, and then you end up carrying the stuff out, and you're like, what have I done to myself?
Well, that's very personal, because now everyone sees the groceries you get, and I'd rather them know what kind of porn I watch. Like, I don't want them to know I'm getting sugar-free jelly and like crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want them to know the kind of shit I get.
Right. You don't want them to see that
Halo
you got
Top.
like Weight Watchers, meals, and
Halo
Snickers.
Top birthday cake flavor, which is an actual type of cake.
Birthday cake flavor.
Halo Top
confetti cake.
No, it's called birthday cake.
Birthday cake?
Well, I mean, I have a list.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't sure. No, because they call themselves the Nice Cream Company. So they do a lot of
Halo Top
has
what they do is like a lot of abstract concepts. Like, one of them just says it's just called candy bar, but it doesn't say like what candy bar.
That's one of their flavors?
It's just candy bar. Another is birthday cake. One is just like, like loneliness. Like, they don't have, it's just all abstract concepts.
I love Halo Top because of how the concept, to me, the calories of the whole thing and the whole pint to me is like a fabulous idea, because it says to you, there it is. That's all you need to know. Like, when you see that like a cookie on the nutrition facts is 1/4 a cookie, you're like, who is this for?
Right.
Who are you?
They always trick you because you have to do the math. You know, they're like, only 25 calories. One serving is a crumb that you take a bite out of.
seven popcorn kernels. Yeah. The idea that I am going to go 7 popcorn kernels and then be like, oh, well, there's the serving size.
And by the way, it's very shaming. Like, I'm sure you've been there too. I mean, I'm sure we've all eaten that frozen box that says it's for a family, but it's not for a family.
No.
I mean, like a fucking Chinese family during like Hiroshima or something, but it's not like.
Was there famine stuff? You've really mixed up. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast
I know I said
at
Japanese,
gmail.com.
during the war.
Luxury Lounge, prepaid credit cards. Mm-hmm. Feather, long time, first time. I have a luxury complaint about prepaid credit debit cards. My father-in-law loves to gift my husband and I prepaid cards for holidays such as birthdays and Christmas. Well, it's a nice gesture. They are the biggest pain in the ass to use. Have you ever gotten these?
Prepaid.
They give you, it's like a credit. It looks like a credit card, but it's just like $50. You would have been better off with the cash. It's not usable.
Yeah.
I've gone to places they go, we don't take that here. I'm like, you take American Express. Why don't you take the American Express?
Well, you also just sound like a felon trying to get a credit card. Like, we'll give you $50 and that's it.
Right.
That's insane. Yeah. Like, I don't. Yeah.
There are countless fees such as transaction costs, and get this.
Well, why don't you just give the cash?
Just give me $50. Well, because they're doing is they're like, well, I don't have cash. I don't have a $50 bill. They're trying to make an impersonal gift personal. Because a card, the prepaid card goes in the card, and you can write a letter.
It has like your name. Does it have your name on it?
No, it's just like it looks like a Visa that like you would get out of a magazine. Like, it just doesn't look it. It is them absolving.
I just stopped being friends with them.
Well, you got to get rid of your father-in-law. They can even charge you a fee for checking the balance on your card. Unlike a gift card, you can't use the full amount on your prepaid card and then pay the rest with another payment method. If your transaction cost is with the rest of another payment method, if your transaction cost is over.
Oh, so you're right. And how do you, like, let's say you have $10 left on it. Maybe you just answer.
You can only use it under the amount that is loaded on the card. Price is Right style. So you can only go up to, but not over.
Oh, so you can like...
Which means you will always end up with unused money on the prepaid card. Yeah, that's their whole plan. They basically got you into their grift. These credit card companies are like, here's a great way for us to never, like, to gain money. We're just getting... It's basically like going and exchanging your money at the airport, like the worst exchange rate ever.
Right.
For your $50, you're getting 48 at a maximum.
Plastic card. None of this needs to be made for this
No,
transaction.
I'm forced to relinquish self-checkout as you can't use prepaid cards. I have tried countless times to use the remaining amount on the cards, only for the cashiers to tell me they are tricky and they don't work. I've had this happen to me. I've been given these as gifts after shows.
Really?
They'll be like, we're not paying you, and this you're doing, like, if you do a charity show, they'll be like, we got you a gift card, and you're like, thank you, and then it's unusable.
No, that's insane.
These funds also expire and decrease monthly, so you have limited time to use them. My complaint is twofold because my father-in-law continues to gift them to us, despite us explaining the challenges of using them. Sincerely, is our next move to gift him one. Yeah, you got to give it to him. Give him the prepaid card. Watch him deal with checkout people going, they're tricky. They don't work. You have to know you have to know how horrible a time it is to use these prepaid cards, to never give out these prepaid cards. I don't think anyone who's ever given one out has ever gotten one.
I think you should one-up it and give him a card that does not work literally anywhere.
Right.
So he'll spend his whole life just wondering where this might work. And he'll for a while, he'll try it for a while. It won't work anywhere. And he'll give up. But he won't throw it away because it's like there's still money on it.
Right.
And then maybe a year later, he doesn't have cash on him. He'll try it again. And just basically what will happen is his whole life he'll keep on getting into these embarrassing financial rejection moments publicly,
and he'll hold it with him, and then on his deathbed he'll look at you and go, I never used the card.
Put it in my will, but I don't know.
Sorry, I disappointed you as a father.
I tried so many places.
I've held this with me all these years
somewhere.
Right,
that'd be pretty good.
That'd be pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah,
really get them. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. We got time for one more. Let's do one more. We got Raanan Hershberg. Go follow at Raanan Comedy. RaananComedy.com for tickets. October 23rd. That's the show.
Comedy Stellar. I just yawned during that plug.
That's okay. Okay. Luxury Lounge. Delivery Driver Revenge. Mm-hmm. Thank you for the safe space event. I'll get right to it. My FedEx and Amazon packages routinely get placed right in front of my garage door. I know the driver probably thinks they're doing me a huge favor by putting it in the clear spot, but in reality, they're just throwing a wrench in my day, and here's why. I work from home, so when I leave the house, I now have to take the extra step of opening the garage door, walking around the back of my car to check for packages. Conversely, if I come home from being out and a delivery has been dropped off, now I have to get out of my car and pick up the packages so I don't run it over when pulling into the garage. I sometimes wonder if they hate me and do it to fuck with me, because it makes no sense why they drop the packages in the most inconvenient spot. Sincerely, Crushed Hope and Packages.
Don't get me started. I mean, I do think because you live at home, it's probably, out of anyone, it's way worse for a lot of other people. For me, it's insane. People are like, Amazon's like, you weren't here. We gave your laptop to this crackhead on the street. He said he'd hold it for you for the next 5 hours. Look for a guy named Jerry. You know what I mean? It's insane. They'll just
then you're outside the streets. Jerry, can I have my laptop, please? I'd like to look at porn.
We put your giant TV in the bushes next to the place. It's like, what are you doing?
I have heroin for you.
It's outside. To the point where if something's outside, I feel like people can't have a right to take it.
We are constantly the beta test generation for everything. Right. We are the perfect middle between analog and and what's it called? What's the other? Digital. We're because you and I are the same age.
Yeah.
Analog and digital. We are the in between. At some point, every place will be built to have a helipad where all their Amazon packages will be dropped, and that will be that. We will have apartment complexes built for package drop-offs. We are not built for that.
It's a little lawless because I think what Amazon is failing to see is that when you bring a package into the lobby of an apartment building, there is a code. Mm-hmm. You assume the neighbors in your apartment building aren't going to steal it, right? Right. But once it's outside the building,
right?
That code does not exist for the people in just New York City. We're not fucking Bedford Falls. This is you can't the code does not exist for the crackhead stealing and all these people.
Especially for this person. Yeah, it's just outside of their house in front of the garage. Anyone could drive up.
Yeah, there's no code. There's no code outside the building.
If I'm, unless there's a Ring camera, but now we've created this Big Brother state where we're watching packages all day long to make sure no one takes them.
It's crazy to the point where I don't even know if that's stealing. Is that even stealing if it's if it's outside?
Right. And this person,
Guess don't be male.
what they're assuming is they're like, oh, they're putting it in a spot that they think will be good for me. No, they're not.
No.
They're putting it in the spot that's easiest for them to pull up and drop it the fuck off. What I would do if I was this person, I would create a package bin.
Right.
And then put a sign up on your garage. Put it in the bin.
Yeah.
And then put the bin to the left of your front door. Maybe even make the bin look nice. I think they have these things where you can like have a package bin that like looks like it's a big rock.
Right.
And someone can put it inside the rock.
People can't get it. Don't just like put it next to the group of homeless people having a fire in a trash can and be like,
It doesn't feel like there's a care. And when does the transfer of responsibility occur? Does it happen when they put the package in the place, or does it happen when you receive the package? That's the biggest problem.
I believe we can trust the apartment code because, like, we don't want Amazon people like going into our house. You know what I mean? And I do worry about that sometimes. I'm like, not even worried. I think myself, like, I could probably murder people by just putting on an Amazon outfit.
You think about this often.
Ringing a bell, and they just let me in, and I just kill whoever. You know what I mean? Like, and if I'm thinking of it, some other people probably aren't too.
You could see Raanan Hershberg, Comedy Cellar, October 23rd. It does.
You see someone's Amazon package, you're like, well, let them in.
Good to go.
They just have a shirt like that just says Amazon,
and I'm sure you could go online and purchase that vest, and you're good to go.
And then you're just the Amazon serial killer.
Well. Raanan just wrote out the next scene of someone's horrific life.
But I think it has to be within the building. I just think, like, if I were to give you a bin. If I just treat it like individual. If I owed you something, if I had to give you something, and I just said, I put it on this park bench in Tompkins Square Park.
It wouldn't be. You didn't give me shit.
Is my responsibility done then?
No, I don't think so.
Right.
JTrain podcast @gmail.com. Raanan Hershberg, thank you for coming on.
Oh, this has been a blast.
Everyone go follow Raanan at Raanan Comedy, RaananComedy.com for tickets to his show. Monday, October 23rd, you're going to love the show. He's taping a special. Big night. We want everyone to go. We want to make it awesome. There's 2 shows, early and late. Go to the late one. That's the fun one. That's the one where Raanan will be like, riffing more and looser because he's already got it from the first one.
Right.
I'm Jared Freed. We're here every Thursday in the lounge. Keep sending your emails, jtrainpodcast@gmail.com. Back next week. Boom.